Today I'll show you the process of connecting the Oracle database using prepared statement interface. Now we have some types of statements in Java database connectivity, which is used for connecting to the database. So in this diagram, you can see three statements are available. First one is the statement interface. Next is prepared statement, and third one is callable statement. Now the prepared statement extends from the statement, that is statement is a super interface, and prepared statement is derived from statement interface. It is called as prepared subinterface of statement interface. And callable statement has been derived from prepared statement. So callable statement is becoming a subinterface and prepared statement is becoming a super interface. So this is the hierarchy of the types of interfaces, the statements which are used in order to execute the SQL queries. Now if you take the first statement, it provides methods to execute queries, and also the prepared statement and the callable statements are also having the methods to execute the queries. But here prepared statement is much more faster in execution and it stores the binary data. Similarly, the callable statement is also faster in execution and storing the binary data. So prepared statement is called as a precompiled statement, and here the syntax is basically checked once and later on we are going to insert the values. So here we can store the images into the database by using some data types like blob and blob, that is binary large objects, and character large objects. Now coming to the prepared statement interface. So the prepared statement object is used to execute the parameterized SQL statements. So here what happens is, whenever you create a statement, that is a prepared statement, at the time of creating the prepared statement only, we are going to pass the syntax of the query. Only the syntax of the query has been passed, not the values. So at the time of creating the prepared statement, the syntax is checked once, and later on we are going to set the values. Now if suppose I want to insert a record into a student table, so I do write insert into student, that is the table name and values, and instead of the values like one roll number, let's say I have two columns, roll number and name. Instead of roll number, the value I need to produce like 101. For name, I want to produce some XYZ. So those values I'm not going to pass at the time of syntax checking. So before setting the values, we are going to check the syntax, whether the particular query is correct or not. If that is syntax of the query is correct, then only we are going to set the values later on. But when you go for the normal statement, at the time of creating statement only, we were passing the complete query as well as values. So for every query, we need to check its syntax and the insertion of the values or updation, whatever it is. So for every query, there are two transactions performed. So there are, if there are a lot of transactions, like suppose I want to insert some 1,000 records into the student table. So when I take normal statement, I need to write the insert query for 1,000 times and the values are been changing. So every query syntax has been checked and the values are been inserted. So one query, two operations are been doing. So 1,000 queries, 2,000 operations we are doing. So here we are trying to overcome the particular problem by reducing the number of transactions. So instead of checking 1,000 times the query, I want to check only for one time. Plus 1,000 times I'm going to insert the values. So only 1,000 plus one operations are been done. 999 transactions are reduced whenever you go for prepared statement. Now it supports 0 or more input parameters, like the values whatever you're going to pass. That more than one parameter can be considered as an input. Then it represents a pre-compiled query. Now at the time of creating a prepared statement only, we are trying to pass the SQL query and the syntax that is only the syntax we're passing, not the values. So the query get compiled beforehand, that is before affecting your actual values. So in that sense, it's called as pre-compiled query that can be executed multiple times without compiling it again and again. So for every insertion or every deletion, we are not going to write the complete query. So only for one time we are going to write first syntax checking of the query, then later on we can directly work with the values. Now the java.sql.prepared statement. Now this prepared statement is an interface under java.sql package, is a part of JDBC API. Now this prepared statement is a subtype of the statement interface. So in the previous slide I was showing the diagram where you have the statement, prepared statement, callable statement. So this prepared statement is a sub interface. Subtype means sub interface of statement interface. Now the statement is also been available in SQL, and prepared statement is also been available in SQL package. Now, a prepared statement object is associated with a connection object. We generally, when you prepare the statement, like whenever you go for creating a prepare statement, we do call the prepare statement method. There is a method called prepare statement. So prepared D is available. Whenever I say prepared statement, there's an interface. When I say prepare, there is no D. Prepare statement, that's a method. So I need to call with the help of the connection object, like con dot prepare statement. I'll show in the program how to work with. So connection object is used to call a method called prepare statement. Now a prepare statement object represents the execution plan of an SQL statement saved into the database that is passed as a parameter while creating the prepared statement object. So whenever you are creating a prepare statement, you are trying to check the syntax of the query, and if the syntax is correct, then only later on you are going to execute the values. So beforehand, you are trying to give to the database that okay, the syntax is being checked, and later on the values are going to set up. Now the SQL statement used with prepared statement can be parameterized SQL statement. So as I said, whenever you are checking the syntax for the values, I'm going to give a question mark. In place of wherever you get a value at the time of syntax checking of the query, you need to put a question mark. You are not going to write the value. So those question marks are called as a parameterized SQL statement. That is, you can take parameters whose values can be set while executing. So later on, that whatever the question marks you have put now, that you need to set by some methods. Okay, at the time of demonstration, I'm going to explain you what are the set. Now coming to the methods of prepared statement interface, we have setInt method, which is taking two integer parameters. One is the parameter index and one is the value of that. So it sets the integer value to the given parameter index. So suppose if, for example, I want to insert roll number and name into a student table, I write the query like insert into student table, that is that is the table name, values, and there the roll number is a data type with integer, and the name with a varchar. So here what I will do is insert into student that is the table name values. I'll put question mark for two columns, question mark comma question mark. Now that question mark, the first question mark implies the first parameter index. Then you need to write the value of that. Second question mark implies second parameter index, and then you write the value. If it is a string, we need to go for a method called set string. If it is a float, we need to go for a set float. If it is a integer, set int. If it is a double value, set double. Okay. So coming to the second one, set string. So s name, that is student name, is a string, right? So I need to go for its parameter index. That means first question mark or second question mark that you need to write, and the value, actual value you need to write. So set the string value to the given parameter index. Similarly, if any column is a float value, then you need to apply set float, the parameter index number, and the new value, the float value. Sets the float value to the given parameter index. Then if it is a double value, you need to go for set double, then the parameter index and the double value, what you want to set. Sets the double value of the given parameter index. And execute update is a method which you need to call externally after setting the values. so that it will be affecting into the actual table. It is used to execute all the queries except select query. So select query we are not going to write into the execute update. Select query will be written in execute query method. So we have execute update and execute query. Execute update is going to work or execute all the queries except only select query. So if you take the execute query method, executes only select query and returns an instance of the result set. So when I write select query means I am trying to retrieve some data from the table that you are going to store into this result set, which is temporary memory, and from that I am going to take out one record and print the values. Now coming to the example how to write. Now here you can see we have a prepared statement interface. There's only one word, P and S capital. Prepared, D is also been developed. Prepared statement. PST is the reference variable that is user defined. Initialize with con. That is the second step. We are creating connection object. By using that, we are calling one method called prepare statement. This P is small and there is no D. Okay, so this one and this one we are not going to get confused. This one is prepared statement interface. This is prepare statement method. Now here you can observe insert into table name is student values. I'm having two columns. So one is roll number and one is name. So I'm not talking about values at the time of creating the statement. So I put first column value as a question mark, second value that is a column value is a question mark because I don't want to put. So my intention here is to only check the syntax. Insert into table name values is correct or not. Then in this table, how many columns are there? That many question marks you need to put. Then you close this one. Now later on, once this line is over, that means the syntax has been getting checked. Means it is we are trying to pre-compile the particular query. So once this particular line is checked, then later on we can insert the values. Now, if the first question mark is a roll number and its data type is integer, so I need to write PST. What I've created here, no? PST dot set int method. Just now in the previous slide, I was explaining the methods. Set int. Why I'm writing integer here? Because the first question mark is a roll number and the data type is playing the main role. Roll number data type is integer. So I take set int. The first question mark is column number 1. Then I need to write the value. Similarly, for second question mark is the name of the student is varchar. So I need to apply set string method. Then the index number will become 2. This is index number 1. This is index number 2. 2 and the new value, but put in double quotes. And finally, once you set these values, no, then you need to call a method called execute update. Then only it will affect into the actual table. Otherwise, not. Okay. So this is these two. If you that means like this, if you mention the question one, that is called as parameterized SQL statement. Okay. Later on, we are going to set the parameter values. Now, what are the advantages you're getting if you go for prepared statement interfaces? One is it is improving the performance of an application in comparison to the statement object. So that's what I was giving an example in the earlier of this particular lecture, that if you take 1,000 records to be inserted and you take the normal statement, there we need to write insert query for 1,000 times, as well as at the time of insert query you need to give the values also. So one query it is taking 2 operations. 1,000 queries it is going to take 2,000 operations. But why I need to check so many times the syntax of the particular query when I'm inserting the record? Why can't I check the particular insert query only for one time and 1,000 values you can set later on? So that is the best advantage what you're getting in prepared statement. We are checking the syntax only for one time and later on we can do the work with the values. So in that sense, the performance of an application is getting improved, because the same example, if you take 2,000 records, so only one time syntax checking is done. 1,000 values we are trying to provide. 1,000 plus 1, 1,001 operations only we are doing. 999 operations are getting reduced. Now it is easier to insert or update the SQL data type column, such as blob. Blob implies binary large object. CLOB, character large object, with the help of setX methods. So we are trying to store the images information also into the database. So where we need to convert that particular image into byte streams and store. So we have the blob and clob concept where I can write set blob and set clob methods in order to store the image also into the database. It provides a programmatic approach to set the values of the parameters in a more descriptive way as compared to statement object. So here we have some set methods. Already I was explaining the previous slides. By using the set methods, I can set any of the column based on the data type. Coming to the disadvantage of prepared statement interface, it can represent only one SQL statement at a time. Therefore, we cannot execute more than one statement by a single prepared statement. So every prepared statement you are going to create, only one query we can provide as a parameter for prepared statement for syntax checking. We cannot club more than one type of query. So if you're writing insert syntax, only insert that reference variable of the prepared statement is going to work only for insert query. If suppose you want to update, you need to create one more prepared statement reference variable, then you can pass update queries. And that particular reference variable is only used for update query. So like that, any point of time, any prepare statement you're creating, that has been only working with one single query. So that is one of the disadvantage. Now I'll show you the demonstration of prepared statement application uh, for connecting Oracle database. So for this, we need to open the Visual Studio Code. To open the Visual Studio Code environment, the first thing is you need to have the Visual Studio Code software. Then if you have, you can just type the Visual Studio Code, just click it. Now this is the environment for the Visual Studio Code. So if you want to work with the Java files, you create one folder here and you need to save all the files into the particular folder for execution. So already I'm having a folder called Java VS1. So I have so many subfolders inside this. So I select the last one, VS24, just right click and go for a new file. Just select that subfolder and go for right click and new file. And it is asking for the file name. So here I'm giving prepared statement demo.java. Okay. Now here this is an environment for typing your application. So the first thing is you need to type the package name. So before going for our application, I will just show you the database also. So you can once you have the Oracle database, you can just search for run SQL command line. So you can see if I type run SQL, and just click that. And this is a SQL prompt. Just connect by using the database user ID and password. And it asks for the password. I'll give the password what I have entered at the time of installation of my database. Here you can't see anything when you're typing your password, but it accepts the character. Just press enter after typing. Press enter. Now, I want to just see. I have one database, one table here called student DB1. I want to just check how many records are available in that inside that student DB1. So the select query shows all the rows and columns. So here I'm having four, like 101, 2, 3, and 4. Now I want to just add or update or delete. I will just do on this. Okay. So I go back to my application. We'll see what all operations we can do on this. But as of now, it is only 4 records. When I just complete my program and we'll see what sort of tasks we can do inside that, then we'll see what is the end result. So go back to the Visual Studio Code. Now here the package is java.sql. Okay. Then class. Give the same class as a file name. Prepared statement demo. Then here the main method publish static void main. Then you go for try block because we do have some exceptions like class not found exception and SQL exception. So in order to handle those exceptions, we can go for try and catch blocks. So here the first step is loading of drivers for name of Oracle .jdbc .driver .oracle driver. Now this is the code for loading of drivers. Now here you have the Oracle driver, this one. This is a predefined class available in driver package. Driver is a subpackage for JDBC, JDBC is a subpackage for Oracle. So this is the hierarchy. So here what we are trying to do is we are trying to load this class into my application. So if this particular file is not available in your system, then you get class not found exception because this is a predefined class. Now in order to work out with this, what you can do here is you need to download a jar file called ojdbc6.jar file, and there's a free download. You can type just in Google and just you can download it and save in one folder, any folder. And you select the particular, and before that, once you save into the folder, you try to extract the data from the jar file. And inside that particular jar file, you have one more jar file compressed. That is the name is also ojdbc6.jar. You need to extract that, and you select the path where you are storing, and that path to be copied and pasted in. Like you go for my computer, then right click properties, then environment variables, and there is one variable called class path. For that you need to set this value. Okay, if you don't set, then obviously the class, this Oracle driver class file will not be found in your system. Then you get class not found exceptions. So in order to make it the how to set the class path, I clearly mentioned and demonstrated in my previous video named as how to set class path for Oracle driver. So please look into that and set the class path. If you don't set the class path properly, your application is not going to run. Okay, after this, I have a connection interface, connection con. I'm having a driver manager class. Then inside that we have a get connection. Inside that, I need to pass the parameters like JDBC colon Oracle, which is a sub protocol. JDBC colon Oracle is a sub protocol. Colon thin. Thin is nothing but type 4 driver, or we call it a thin driver, colon @ localhost. Why I'm writing localhost here is my Oracle database and my application, what I'm writing, both are in the same system, in my local system. So that's the reason I need to mention that my database is available in the local system. I'm naming it as localhost. Colon 1521 is a port number for Oracle. Colon X stands for the Oracle engine type. Now after this, you need to type this user ID and password what we were typing for the Oracle database, and I will give the password of the database which I was given while at the time of installation of my database. Okay, so here you can see there is a class called driver manager, and here we have a get connection. Now the method called get connection is called with the help of the class name. So static methods will be called with the help of class name. Similarly, here a for name is also a method which is called with the class name. So the for name is also a static method from the class called class. Now here don't get confused. Here small c is a class and here capital C is a class. So small c, when you type, is a keyword for declaring a class. Now this is one of the predefined class available in Java. That is in language package, we do have that. Now whenever you go for this particular method execution, then there it is going to return the connection reference variable. Now the third step is creation of statements. Instead of normal statement, I need to go for prepared statement, right? Prepared statement. PST, there is a reference variable which is user defined. By using connection object, I need to go for prepare statement. That statement of now you need to the syntax in double quotes. Insert into table name is student db1. Okay, then values. Here I'm having here I'm having roll number and name, two columns. So I go for two question marks here, question mark 1 and question mark 2, because I don't produce any values here. That's the reason I'm okay. So this is the way how you are going to write the query without values into the prepare statement. Now how to set the values we'll see. So take the reference called PST, what you have created. No? Then the first is roll number. First question mark is roll number, right? So its data type is integer. So I need to write setInt method. Call number 1, right? 1 I'm writing, and I'm writing 105. Okay, similarly, PST dot set string is the second column, right? For the name. 2 with some, I'm giving some random names. I'm giving. Then close. Now finally, you need to call execute update. Otherwise, it will not affect in the database. Now this is the insertion of one record. Just I'll copy this. Now this is the, now I will just change the values. Same methods, right? Then this is second record. Now one more time, if I go for 107, 107. Now this is the third record. So 3 records I'm trying to insert. Okay. Now ps.execute update. So I'll just go for system.out.println records inserted successfully. Okay, so 3 records I'm trying to insert, and I'm calling with the PST, because the PST is going to only work for insert query, right? So now afterwards, I want to, let's say, update. Okay, here I want to update, let's say, 102 name to something else. Other PQR I don't want, or something else I want. So I want to just go for a new prepared statement. Prepared statement PST equal to con dot prepare statement of, here we write update query. Update, the table name is student db1. Set, what do you want to set? The student name, right? So S name is the column name, equal to, don't write the value, only question mark. Where roll number equal to, again question mark, don't write the value. So because here we are able to only check the syntax. Okay, so here PST is already done. You make it as PST1 here. Okay, now you use PST1 for setting the values, like PST1 dot. Now you don't get confused, like here you have S name and its question mark. So S name data type is string. So you write PST1 dot set string of 1 with the name. So let's say I'm giving something like MSc. Okay, so earlier I was writing 1 with some number, right? So here the syntax is here the scenario is different. Question mark implies roll number. This question mark implies the name, but here it's not like that. We are setting the value of a string here. So the first question mark is string, then second question mark is the roll number. Set int. Now roll number is integer, right? 2 with. So which one you want to change? I said 102 roll number I want to change. And then finally pst1 dot execute update you need to. Now here I can write system records updated successfully. Okay, record updated successfully. Now similarly, I want to go for insert deleting a record. Okay, so let me check. I want to delete 104. 102 we have modified, 104 I want to delete. So here, one more prepared statement. PST2 now. Con dot prepare statement of delete from table name student db1, where roll number equal to 104. Now this is my query, not 104 here. Here you need to put a question mark, right? Later on we need to set the value. PST2 dot set int, because roll number, right, it's an integer, 1 with 104. Here like this you need to set. Then execute pst2 dot execute update. Okay, so we are inserting, we are updating, we are deleting also. Now we can go for printing also. How do you print? We take a result set, which is a temporary memory, rs equal to pst. I use it. Okay, before that I need to go for prepared statement pst3 equal to con dot prepare statement of select star from student db1. So I want this all. I'm not putting any condition sort of thing. I'm not putting any values. So here pst3 dot execute query, okay, which returns a result set. Prepare. Okay. Now here I'll take a while loop and I'll print one by one records by using rs dot next method. Now here I print system dot out dot println of roll number, right? Roll number space concatenated with rs dot getInt. We have one method called getInt. Then again concatenate with student name, student name with the colon plus rs dot get string, because here the one getInt of one means first column, get string of two means second column. So every record I want to extract column number one, column number two. Get string of two. Okay. Then close the while loop. It's already closed. Now then you need to close rs dot close. Now the close the connection pst3 reverse way you need to go for. Then pst2 pst1 then pst, then close the try block, then go for catch block, then e dot print stack trace. This is going to give the complete error information. Okay, then class end. So last is not required. Okay, I will try to check whether the program works or any error occurs. So again, I repeat, here we are inserting 105, 106, 1073 records. One record, that is 102 record, we are getting updated to MSC from PQR. One record we are deleted. So here also we'll try to put a result. Here also we are trying to put a println statement. So after that we can just print the records whatever is remaining, and here also we need to put values, not value. Then save the program, just run and see what is the end result. So as of now we have 4 records. Now after executing, 5, 6 and 7 should be inserted. 102 value should be changed. 104 should be deleted. Okay, and the remaining records should be printed in the command prompt. So that is my target. And execute. Here we have run command. Just click that. Okay. Now you can see we have records inserted successfully, updated successfully, deleted successfully, and the remaining records we got here. Okay. Now just I'll show you the database. Now here you can see this 102 name is changed to MSC. 105, 6 and 7 we got inserted. 5, 6 and 7. These two got changed to MSC. Earlier it was PQR, now it has been changed to MSC. And that was 104 was here, but 104 got deleted here. Okay. Now the same result what we got here, you can see the same 106, 107, 101, 102, 103 and 105. There is no 104 and 102 data has been changed to MSC. Okay. So this is the way you are going to work with prepared statement for connecting to the Oracle database using Visual Studio Code environment. And you can also develop such applications which is used for real-time examples, real-time scenarios. So if you like this video, please do comment, subscribe and share it to your friends. Thank you.